Lloyds Bank building on the opposite side of the road. Exit by the door by which you entered the room or by the fire exits, which are clearly indicated by the standard green fire exits. If you need any assistance in evacuating the building, please make yourself known to a member of staff. Please can I ask that you turn your mobile phone off or to silent for the duration of the meeting, please. Item 2 on the agenda is apologies. I've got one apology, that's Councillor Chris Wilson. And everybody else is here. Item 3, to approve the minutes of the meeting held on the 1st of October 2025. I'll move them. Can I get a seconder? Councillor Watkins. And everybody in favour of that? I'm just, hold on, give me time. Everybody's okay with that? Yep, thank you. It'll get there in a sec. That's that done. Item 4, declarations of interest. Members to declare any interest not included on schedule. Everybody all up to date? Yep, okay, all right. Item 5, public consultation. There's no items of public consultation, nobody to speak. So we'll move to item 6, to update members on key matters following the adoption of the Borough Plan Review. And so I think I'll hand over to Sarah to give the report. Sarah.
Good evening. Members, since our last meeting in October, there has been significant national and local policy developments to update you on. The Borough Plan Review was formally adopted at full council on the 10th of December 2025, replacing the previous Borough Plan. The Borough Plan Review now forms a key part of our statutory development plan, alongside other documents, including the Gypsy and Traveller Site Allocations DPD and the Warwickshire Minerals and Waste Plans. The 6-week legal challenge period runs until the 24th of January, but the Borough Plan Review still carries full weight in decision-making during this time. The adoption of the Borough Plan Review means that we can now demonstrate a robust housing land supply. This is currently 10.5 years, well above the 5-year requirement. However, members will be aware under the updated NPPF, which was published December 2024, our housing requirement rises from 545 dwellings per annum to 756 dwellings per annum, and a 20% buffer will apply to the housing supply figure from July 2026. As set out in the report, we will continue to be able to demonstrate a supply in excess of 5 years as an interim figure until the data is available to publish as an updated position as at the 1st of April 2026. Over the past few months, the planning policy team have been working on updating supplementary planning documents to align with the policies in the Borough Plan Review and national planning policy updates. Subject to Cabinet approval next week, a 4-week consultation on 5 updated SPDs and a new Heritage SPD will commence on the 4th of February, running until the 4th of March. In terms of next steps, transitional arrangements require us to commence a new local plan immediately under the new plan making system introduced by the Levelling Up and Regeneration Act. MHCLG guidance published in November sets out the direction for the new plan making system. This new process has a strict 30-month timeframe. By way of a very high-level summary, it includes the following steps. We need to publish a timetable, and this will replace the requirement for a local development scheme. And it's meant to be a live timetable, which we update as a minimum monthly. We need to give notice of plan making, and because our local housing need figure is much higher than the amount of new housing planned for in the local plan, the council must give this notice no later than the 30th of June this year. We have to run a scoping consultation, and then we have to reach a new term. They're called gateways now in the plan making system. So we have to reach gateway 1, which is a declaration of our readiness to start plan making. And the time frame for this is by the 31st of October this year, and that's a self-assessment. We then need to publish a summary of a scoping consultation that we hold alongside that. consult on the proposed plan and content and its evidence. This will be similar to kind of the preferred option stage of before. Then it's gateway 2, and it's at this point that we engage with the planning inspectorate. We then have to consult on the new proposed local plan and the map of the proposed policies, and this will now be for an 8-week minimum requirement. And then we get through to gateway 3, and this is where the planning inspectorate allocate us an assessor and decide whether the plan can then be submitted for examination. We'll then have the examination stage, which hopefully then would see us through to adoption. And this is to be undertaken within the 30-month time frame. The policy team are in the process of reviewing all these changes, which are currently being consulted on, and have already begun preparatory work, including a call for sites consultation and commissioning evidence-based documents, including the Green and Grey Belt review. Finally, just to make you aware, following the drafting of this Borough Plan Committee report on the 16th of December, MHCLG published the draft MPPF for consultation. I think I've sent you all a summary of that if you want to provide any comments to that consultation, and we can incorporate them. This is a significant rewrite of the existing MPPF. They're posing over 200 consultation questions, and it's running until the 10th of March. So yeah, if you've got any comments on that, please let us know. I think we gave a deadline of the 9th of February, but if you could let us know, that would be much appreciated. And yeah, as I said, we'll collate all the comments and send our formal response to MHCLG. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Will I take questions or? Yeah. So if any of you have got any questions, Councillor C. Smith.
Thank you, Chair. I don't see any mention of the local government reorganisation in this report. Is local government reorganisation likely to affect the borough plan at all? As being factored in to this 30-month project?
So as it stands, and the guidance that we're being told by, I've attended quite a lot of PAS forums, Planning Advisory Service, it's very much that we are required to crack on with our new local plan for our borough at the moment. They're aware, obviously, that local government reorganisation is coming, the requirements for strategic development strategies are coming, but the message that we're being told is that we can't wait for that to happen to do a new plan. We have to start the new plan, and they've stipulated those timescales in terms of those like backstop dates that we have to hit for June and October this year to start that process.
Councillor Svetovich.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to sort of ask regarding this 30-month period, because it's not very long. And I'm just wondering what's the capacity currently in terms of the work that the council officers normally would have on their day-to-day jobs, and then how much extra capacity do they have to do this and deliver it all within 30 months? Because it sounds like a lot. And is there anything else that you need? So are you adequately funded at this point in time to do that? Do you have adequate staff to do everything that's expected within that 30-month period? So I'm conscious how long the last plan took. And I know lessons will have been learned, which will probably save some time, but it is a lot of extra work by the sounds of it. So yeah, if you could let us know where we stand on that, that would be very helpful. Thank you.
I think it's a very, very challenging deadline. Every authority is kind of saying that it's a very, very challenging deadline. On average, plans take, I think it's 7 years to go through. So this is radical. The whole purpose of what the government are consulting on, in their view, is that it's much more streamlined. They're given a lot of focus on the need for the evidence base to be proportionate and updated. So we have got quite an up-to-date evidence base, obviously having just gone through the borough plan review, so seeing where we can streamline and target some of that. They've created a guidance page for local plans, which they continue to update, and we're hoping there's a bit more that will come out on that in terms of how we will be able to kind of save some time with some of those assessments, or more standardisation of assessments, such as site assessments. They've said they might do that, which would help save time. In terms of funding and capacity of the team, we're conscious it will be very challenging. We're aware of that deadline. We currently have a vacant post within the policy team. We're looking to go out to recruit for that, hopefully within the next week or so, with a view that we will then be fully staffed to commence this. In terms of funding, one of the key things on all the events I've attended is that the government know that they're putting on a lot of pressure to authorities to deliver this, and therefore they're trying to make as much funding available as possible to support authorities. We're aware there'll be an opportunity for us to apply for some grant funding for up to, I think it's £120,000 to support that. That's only just come out today, so we'll be looking to prepare a expression of interest towards that. And yeah, I think it is going to be tight. We're doing everything we can to try and prepare that when we give that notice, can continue.
Yeah.
So thank you. That's really helpful. I just wanted to know, just as a follow-up to that, just occurred to me, are there any sort of financial penalties if we miss that 30-month deadline?
So I haven't seen anywhere in writing that there'll be financial penalties. The penalties will be that they could take away your local plan making powers. So there'll be interventions.
Thank you, Chair. I'm just wondering, are other surrounding boroughs in the same situation? Do they have the same sort of requirements? So North Warwickshire, Rugby, are they doing the same thing as we are?
Yes, in essence, they are. It's a requirement for all authorities. So under the new plan making system, what central government have done is they've created kind of the two terms, which is the legacy system. So there's authorities that are still going through what we've just been through with the borough plan review under the old system, the legacy system, and there's the new plan making system. Those authorities, such as North Warwickshire, Rugby as well, are still trying to progress their plans under the old system. But there is still the requirement of them kind of at the same time to meet some of these deadlines. So in a way, there's even more work for them to do on some of that. So in essence, yes, there's the same requirement on all authorities. There's just some of them have got different dates by which they need to submit the different stages.
Thank you, Chair. So is there any scope for us to actually pool resources with those neighbouring authorities? Again, with a view to LGI in the future, if we can start working together and pooling resources, A, it'll be more efficient for everybody, hopefully, and B, we'll have something that we can transition to as and when we move to a unitary.
I think there's opportunities in terms of some of the evidence-based documents. So we've done that through the Borough Plan Review, where we've had those shared evidence-based documents that cover the regional area. Obviously, there's discussions we have at officer level which are ongoing with neighbouring authorities. As I said, they are at different stages of the plan-making process. So some of their backstop, whereas we're required to do it by June, some of them are required a little bit later. So it's not necessarily as easy to just marry everybody up at the same time, as everybody is essentially, they're all trying to get the plans through under the legacy system, but we're a little bit ahead of the game of that one. So I think there's opportunities to try and work collaboratively, and we do that anyway, well, under the duty to cooperate, which is still currently in motion, to see where we can try and share that resource in light of that. But there's no firm plans that we're going to do a joint plan. That's not being discussed.
Thank you, Sarah. Any further questions? Councillor Walsh.
Thank you, Chair. One of the questions I was going to ask you've already answered in terms of potential funding, governmental funding, because obviously it's the government who brought this upon ourselves. And given that we've just spent a lot of time and effort going through to produce the new plan, you said you have a vacancy at the moment in the policy department. If you fill that vacancy, will you have enough capacity to do this work, or are you understaffed currently? Obviously, you're understaffed by the fact you've got a position, but even if you fill that position, will you still have enough capacity to enable you to get to this point in the 30-month period?
I think we're working on the basis that if we were fully staffed, we've done a kind of a scoping exercise of which evidence-based documents we can produce in-house, which ones we would need to outsource. We've got quite a detailed project plan that we're working up at the moment to kind of understand those challenges and where there might be kind of weaknesses in terms of capacity. As it stands, especially with the opportunities for grant funding to become available, we would hope to be able to obviously work towards meeting those deadlines, and the intention is very much with the grant funding available and planning and then using what we can in-house and outsourcing what we need to, that we can progress that plan within the timescales.
So the vacancy you've currently got, was that already budgeted for? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. Any further questions? No. Okay, right. So then I move to the recommendations at point 2, that the reports be noted. The contents of the cross-party letter sent to Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government, seeking clarity on the transitional arrangements relating to unitary authorities and the formulation and review of local plans following the last Borough Plan Committee meeting be noted. Also be noted that the Borough Plan Review 2021-2039 was adopted on the 10th of December 2025 and now supersedes the Borough Plan 2011-2031. It be noted that the council can demonstrate a 5-year supply of housing, and the proposed change into the local plan making system be noted. So I shall move that, and seconder Councillor Watkins, and I believe I've got to get everybody in favour of that. That's you, Nan. And that's everything dealt with. Item 7, no other items. So at 18:17, I could declare this meeting closed. Thank you for attending. Thank you for the officers and Maria as well. Thank you. Yeah. We've done the business.